Alcoholic Junction. Alcoholic Junction. Alcoholic Junction. Alcoholic Junction. Ladies and gentlemen, and theys and thems, welcome to another motherfucking episode of Talkaholic Junction. First off, I just want to give a quick update. Still in West Virginia, still living with the hills have eyes type folk. It's not that bad, but it's pretty cool out here. The last episode did pretty well. A lot of people like the CCU stories, like the quick ones. And there's a lot of things I did forget to mention, a lot of things I forgot to come back on, just going to be honest. But, we have plenty time, throughout different episodes, to get back into it and give detailed stories. I feel like this is something like CCU is one of those situations where it's not going to be every episode, but it's going to be episodes here and there. I already talked to Mike and James. I'm going to get them on. They're going to get their side. My homegirl Emma. We're going to get the full narrative of everything going down so you can get a full perspective on it. And yeah, like I said, the whole experience at the school was crazy. And the only reason why I told the story is I felt nostalgic. It was late. I was tired. And I was just thinking about it. That Gucci Man mixtape. Brr. But it made me think of one story. I've already shared this story on Vile Ventures on my other podcast, but I haven't posted on that in a while. Right now, I'm kind of just focusing on Talkaholic Junction, but it's pretty much the story of Bobby Mackey. And a lot of people don't understand Bobby Mackey is this scary, terrifying, horrible fucking place. I'm not really going to get into the history. Just know a lot of fucked up shit happened. A lot of fucked up shit happened in that place, murders, suicides, all that type of stuff. And it was crazy. And how can I start this? Best way I can start this off is at CCU, me and a group of some of the guys in the boys' dorm, during October, freshman year, we got together and pretty much watched a horror movie almost every single night during October. A horror movie. We watched Babadook. Babadook. And I'm not gonna lie, Babadook is one of those movies where I keep saying I don't know why, but Babadook is one of those type of movies where it was good when I first watched it, but the more and more I watched it, I watch it probably once, twice a year, during October, just for the feel, nostalgic of it. And more I watch it, I'm kind of this movie is stupid. This movie is dumb. It's really not scary. And it's kind of whatever. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have got rid of that child. I'm sorry. We're in the car. I'm telling you to calm down. And you just over here screaming your head. Nah, dog, you gotta go. But anyways, yeah, at CCU, we used to watch horror movies every single week. We got together a big group, about 15, 20 of us. I need to stop doing that. But 15, 20 of us would be in the, the commentary, communion, what room would it be? It'd be the room where everybody gets together. I can't think of my words right now, but it's where all the boys got together on our floor. Because there was different floors. You had 4 floors, I believe. And there was 2 sides on each. So that means they all had their little area where, you can play games and you can watch movies, do different things, ping pong, all that type of stuff. But while we're watching the movie, we go back to one of my homeboys' dorm room and we start watching Ghost Adventure. And, Bobby Mackey pops up and we found out it's right across the bridge in Kentucky. I think it's Wilder, Kentucky. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Me being the person I am, I'm okay, let's get in spirit. Let's make it a little spooky in here. So I decided to come up with some prank, something to scare all the guys or whatever. And it was me and this one other dude. Let's call him M or whatever. I ripped my shirt a little bit, straightened myself up a little bit. I look like I, ran the ones on somebody a little bit, just a little tussle. And I just wanted to make it look like, something really happened to me. So I run into the room while they're still watching Ghost Adventures. This is like about an hour later. They were like on a different episode. And I'm like, dogs, bro, we went to Bobby Mackey. All this crazy shit happened. My backpack's there. And, we got to go back and fucking get that shit. Like, I got important stuff, homework, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, I got fucked up, dog. And they believed it because of the shit they seen on Ghost Adventures. So it was me, this dude named Wyatt, Diego, we'll just say is Mark, and then me, yeah. Mark is to my left. Wait, hold on. Wyatt's driving, Diego's up front, I'm in the middle, Mark is to my left, and there was somebody else to my right, but I can't remember who it was. In the Cadillac, we're about to drive off and all that type of stuff. We get down the hill, we're about to head over there. And then I kind of was like, oh, yeah, I'm just joking with you. We can turn back, like, I'm just playing hee hee ha ha. Wyatt turned back and looked at me and was like, yeah, fuck that. We're going now. And I'm kind of like, oh, shit. It's getting real. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I start getting scared. And the Bobby Mackey story is like set up in like 2 days. It's literally like a horror movie. In my opinion, it's kind of like a horror movie where shit happens fast in like a short span of time. Like a lot of shit happens in a short span of time. So we get to Bobby Mackey's. We all get out the car. We're investigating. We looking around shit. Like Bobby Mackey is like, it was a bar. It was a bar. Had a bull in it and everything. And also there was an apartment on top and all this stuff. It was a white building. I'll put the photos on social media so you can see what it looks like so you can get a better understanding. Had this big gravel parking lot. And then there was like a train that wasn't used anymore right there next to it. And then also, Bobby Mackey also had like a tunnel that went into the Ohio River because it used to be a slaughterhouse. So you got the picture of everything. We get there, like I said, we're playing Scooby-Doo and shit. And we keep seeing this fucking white Kia keep driving back and forth. White Kia. And I'm not gonna lie, the dude in that car looked fucked. Like imagine, like Freddy Krueger. He looked like Freddy Krueger in half his face. He looked like he was a burn victim. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it was fucking weird that this motherfucker kept driving back and forth like 2-3 times. And then also, the police officer came past, got in the parking lot, pulled up on us, and he was kind of like, hey, y'all cool doing whatever y'all do, but if some shit pop off, y'all on your own. And we're kind of like, oh shit. That's kind of, that's a little weird to say, but all right, then he drove off. And let me just say this also. Wilder, Kentucky is a fucking ghost town. It's literally like a fucking scary movie. It's a ghost town. You be pulled up in there. There was no cars. You barely seen fucking lights on. It was fucking just a quiet fucking city. At the same time, it was only like maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it wasn't even that late, but it was so fucking quiet. We didn't see any other cars pass us up. Maybe 1 or 2 on the way there. You didn't see anybody out. You didn't see any house lights on. It was just quiet as shit. So right off rip, I kind of knew what the fuck we were getting into. But back to the police officer. He said all that, left, drove off. We're still snooping around, looking through everything, and just, knocking on doors, fucking just walking around. And Diego at the time, he pulled his hamstring. So he wasn't moving good whatsoever. But as we got to to the back of the, to the building, we start seeing footprints in the grass. And I'm not gonna lie, we all just fucking say, fuck this, and we just book it. We book it back to the car. Wyatt gets in, and we just drove off. And at the same time, think about it. Diego's hamstring's fucked up. So think about it. If you're in pain, and you're so scared to the point where you're running while in pain, you're gonna take out. You're gonna take off. You're gonna take off a lot. So that happened. And I don't know why, but some reason in my head, I was kind of like, you know what, fuck that. I want to go back again and actually figure out some shit and do some investigating, bring more people. So throughout the next day, I just went through and started asking people like, hey, you want to go to Bobby Mackey? You want to go to Bobby Mackey? I started getting a fucking team prepared. I got a whole bunch of people. I'll say it's about 15 of us. 15 of us, yeah. About 15 of us. Before we even head to Bobby Mackey, because first off, before we head off to Bobby Mackey, me and this one dude went to Walmart, and let's just say We got I didn't do anything. I was just there for the adventure. I didn't have no money at the time. He went in there and got a whole bunch of, ghost adventure bullshit, like lights and, well, shit. Yeah, just flashlights, headlights, all that type. It was just literally just lights. So not ghosts, man, just lights. But the thing is, he got it for free 99, which is kind of fucked up. I do not recommend stealing, kids. Well, this is an explicit podcast anyway. Shouldn't have been listening in the first place. But anyway, just in case you are. We don't steal. It's not right. It's wrong. But he ended up getting a whole bunch of flashlights, like the cheaper ones, like the dollar ones. Like the ones that clip on, like a vest, like a work vest, or, the only thing that he took that was like, cost a lot of money was like the police officer flashlights. It's one of them hard ones. He ended up taking a whole bunch of them, and we meet up in the parking lot at our school. We hand out the flashlights, and we're like, all right, we're going to go here, and we're going to like kind of split up in teams. We're going to keep some people at the, cars in the parking lot, and everybody else is going to explore the tunnel. Because that tunnel, I forgot to mention, goes from the Ohio River through, the ground or whatever, into Bobby Mackey. And it's called the Gateway of Hell. You would think with that name and a tunnel being creepy as fuck like that, most people would be like, I don't want to go. But everybody was down to go. Don't know why. So I want to say we had about 3-4 cars. We pulled up there. Me, Mark, and let's just say J-Dog. We're in the car. We're going to stay in the car because we're just keeping watch of everything. Because just in case something was pop off. The rest of them start walking into the woods, over the train tracks and all that type of stuff. And they finally get to the tunnel, and they're going through the tunnel, and me and Mark talking like, bro, this shit is weird and creepy. And the next thing I know is the windows started to fog up a lot, which makes sense. It was kind of cold around or whatever. But the thing that was weird was there was fingerprints on the fucking window. Me and Mark was like, yeah, we're going to act like we didn't fucking see that shit. We're going to ignore the fuck out of it. Jordan's kind of like, yeah, I should have stayed back in campus. Fuck that. And J-Dog, Jordan J-Dog, it doesn't matter. I don't know who I'm fucking talking about. But we just sit in the car, and I start getting this like weird fucking, this weird sense of everything. Like something was going wrong. Like something, like they need to come back. Like something, I don't know. And, to tell the story, like what happened throughout the walk, my homeboy told me that like while they were walking, like there was one dude and one chick, they went off on their own ventures and ended up fucking in the woods, which is a no. You don't do that. That's how you get caught. That's how the murderer fucking gets you. You don't fuck in the woods. But he got some in the woods. It is what it is. And then they ended up catching back up. They get to the tunnel, and they're walking to the tunnel, and they say they see all this graffiti everywhere, 666, and like devil, all this other stuff. It was like some spooky shit, like this devil worshiping shit all over the fucking tunnels. They keep walking the tunnels. They said they were getting an eerie feeling, but they're also like laughing and joking around. But it doesn't get serious until they get to the tunnel, because the tunnel the tunnel gets to the point where you have to physically crawl to get to the other side. Like it gets that small. So once they made it from walking to crawling, they nominated one person to crawl that motherfucker. And then this is when shit hits the fan. Well, before shit hits the fan, let me just say this. I text my homeboy. I was like, hey, look, you need to get out. He said he got those text messages in threes. And everybody knows what that means. When you get anything in threes, that's a mock to God. We don't play that. So no, he got my text message in threes. And when he said, and then I also called him because he didn't reply back because service was bad. He said that's all he kept hearing was get out, get out, get out, get out. That's all he heard. So him being the person he is, he left. He dipped out. But the other people, they stayed in there. So it's almost like a third of the group left once they fucking seen that shit. And the rest of them stayed. The one dude they nominated started crawling in the tunnel. But as he started crawling, he started screaming bloody murder. Like just straight screaming bloody murder. Everybody's like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? They fucking pulled him by his legs, pulled him out the tunnel, and he's grabbing on his neck or whatever. And the thing is, he didn't start grabbing on his neck until he was at the tunnel. Like, it's not like he did it to himself. He didn't do it to himself. I promise he didn't do it to himself. Because that tunnel's so tight, you can't really, like, do anything. But When they pulled him out of his tunnel, he started reaching for his neck like he couldn't breathe, rubbing his chest. He had finger and hand marks around his neck, scratch marks on his neck and chest and all that type of stuff. And like, he was just like freaking out. They physically picked this man up and start running him down the tunnel because they don't know what to do. They're just like terrified. Mike and a couple of the homeboys are already back. And Mike is a homeboy. I keep name dropping. I'm sorry. But at the same time, it really doesn't matter. Mike's already back there. And me and him are talking. And one thing we noticed too around all the cars is there's a smiley face on the driver windows. Like all the cars fogged up, but there was a smiley face on all the driver's side windows, which was weird. That was weird. Mike gets back. We're talking. We see the windows, all that type of stuff. And then we start hearing commotion and they're running back with him. And as they're running back with him, we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then something just kind of caught me and Mike's, attention. We look to the left and we see a bitch in all white. And she's like looking at us. And I know this sounds so unbelievable. It sounds like bullshit. I promise you, me and Mike saw the same shit, woman in white. And this bitch got on all fours and just fucking dipped off into the woods. Scariest fucking shit in the world. But I ended up pissing off Mike because he was like, you see that shit? And I was like, yeah. Just act like you didn't see the shit. Just forget about it. Act like you didn't see it. And he looked at me. He was like, what the fuck you mean? I seen that shit with my own eyes and you did too. You can't just forget about that shit. I'm one of those ones, when I see scary shit, I act like I don't see it. I act like I'm not a fucking witness because I'd be damned if I let that shit follow me. All that shit fucking happening. We seen that bitch in all white and we fucking book it. We go check on dude, make sure he's all right. And then at that point, we're kind of like, yeah, fuck this. We need to leave. So we all got back in our cars and we just dipped out. And like, it was quiet as shit. No one said a fucking word. It was quiet as fuck when a car ride back. We get back to the school and everybody just kind of just disbands. No one really says words to anybody. We just kind of disbands because everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? Because, a lot of people also believe, when you fuck with shit like that, it follows you back depending on the person, faith and also like mindset and all that type of shit. So we just kind of said, fuck this shit. You would think the story would be over, but no, there's still like other parts to this shit. After all that shit happened, me and Mike decided to go do something else. And we kind of bullshit for a good chunk of that night. And then I come back to the dorms and I see one of the doors fucking kind of cracked open, another homeboy that was there. And I go in the room and these niggas are playing with a Ouija board. After all that happened, they're playing with a Ouija board on campus. On campus. Not gonna lie to you. Shut the door, went back to my room and act like nothing happened. And then that's when things start getting weird in the dorm room. After that day, we started getting knocks at our door around 2, 3 in the morning every single night. And when you answer that door, nobody's there. And when you look around, everybody else's door, even our RA, his door was open. He's looking around like, who the fuck knocked on our door? Who the fuck is knocking on our door? And this happened like the whole year. It got to the point where we just kind of ignored the knocks. But like a whole bunch of weird shit was going on. Like when you try to take a shower late at night by yourself, you felt like you wasn't by yourself. You would hear shit. Like the campus already, in my opinion, was already haunted because a lot of shit was going on that campus. But you bring a Ouija board, well, you go to somewhere that's super fucking haunted. Then you bring a Ouija board and play with that shit, not knowing if some shit followed. And, not knowing if somebody followed. But the thing that pissed me off the most was they said they were playing with the Ouija board and something really was talking back with them. And they said the first guy was cool, but they said that second guy really wasn't trying to leave. And I'm like, y'all niggas just brought some shit back to us and now we're fucked. So, and not only that, one of the fucking windows fucking broke open. Like not long after, it was like 2 days after that, one of the windows fucking broke open. Like some dude was in a wheelchair playing around and like out of nowhere while he was next to the window while we were watching movies. Cause like I said, we were still going to watch those fucking movies until October was over with. He was in a wheelchair, cause we didn't have that many seats. And one of the windows just fucking burst open, cut his fucking hand. Wild shit. And we're just kind of like, oh no, what the hell? That's pretty much my experience with Bobby Mackey on the shit that popped off. But then also there was another group that went to Bobby Mackey. Not gonna lie, they were copycats. I went the first day, I went the second day, but then there was a third day where a lot of people went. Well, first off, let me say this. I forgot to say there was somebody there that creeped out everybody. I don't know if he was joking or I don't know if he was being for real, but I forgot to mention in the tunnel, there was one dude that was saying some off the wall crazy shit. He kept saying they want a woman. They want a woman. They want a woman. He kept saying that shit. And then he looked at one of the only girls there and was like, you need to go first. They want a woman. And she was kind of like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not going. That had all that shit happened like before, you know, the choking and the scratches on the neck. But yeah, he was being weird as fuck. But funny enough, he rounded up another group to go back. It was him and some other people. Couple people were the same, but most of them were new. And they ended up going back. And this time they went through the tunnel, but came back. And they actually somehow, no. That happened afterwards. They went through the tunnel and they made it back to the crawling area. One of the dudes started crawling in there, but for some reason, everybody's flashlights fucking died. And instead of helping him out, they left him in the tunnel by himself. He was in that tunnel by himself. They booked it on him. That's fucked up. You can't do that. They left him in here by himself. He was in there freaking out, whatever. And when he finally came out, he wasn't the same. He was quiet. He didn't talk to anybody. I'm not gonna lie to you. He changed his life. He cut his hair. He started going to church more. He started doing like, you know, the holy God-fearing man thing. Like he was scared to death. I don't know what happened in there with him, but whatever he saw or witnessed or felt changed him completely. He became a God-fearing man after that day. So all that shit happened. They get back out of the tunnel. He finally comes out like after 10, 15 minutes. And then they work their way back up to the building. And one of the idiots tried to break into the building. And somehow they finagled their way into opening the door in the back. Don't know how. And they said they seen the gateway to hell. They seen the tunnel that would lead to. And they said, yeah, that was weird. We didn't like him. And after all that happened, they finally left. And I would say no one else went to Bobby Mackey's for that reasoning. But a couple students went to Bobby Mackey's for the bar, you know, bull riding and all that type of stuff. And like a lot of them said, nothing really happened. I was having a cool time. But some of them were kind of like, yeah, I hated going to the bathroom by myself. Weird shit happened. All that. So that's pretty much what happened with the Bobby Mackey situation. That was freshman year. So it was October freshman year. And that was probably one of the most frightening things I ever went through in my life when it comes to the paranormal. Oh God, damn. Paranormal. However you say it. But yeah, that was frightening. That was frightening. And you know, it's one of them stories where we tell people and a lot of them don't believe us. They think we're bullshitting, but so much happened. You know, I get more in detail with this story, like, you know, with the history and all that type of stuff. And I interview different people about it. You know, Violent Ventures, if you want to check that out, there's a 2-parter. But yeah, it was a crazy situation, super crazy situation. And dorm life was never the same. It was always creepy and weird on that floor. Something always was popping off, something happening, you know, creepy noise, lights turned off, you know, a whole bunch of shit. And yeah, that was Bobby Mackey. Sadly though, Bobby Mackey was actually shut down and tore down like maybe like 6 months ago, you know, from this recording. It was shut down, tore down. And now the new Bobby Mackey is, I believe, in like Newport, Kentucky now. They have their bar somewhere else. I don't know why they shut down. I don't know what happened, but I don't blame them. I would have done the same shit because no. Hell no. Fuck. No. So all that happened. Crazy. And now that I'm older, what the hell was going through my head? Because I'm the one that actually got all this shit rolling and started. I wish I never would have done it, honestly. Because like that was a very terrifying thing to happen. And you know what? One thing I left out, but you know what? I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. One thing I left out is some of those nights after the Bobby Mackey situation, we got together and slept all in the same day. Like you have like 6, 7 different dudes in the same dorm room sleeping together, like on the floors and stuff, because they were terrified. They were scared because they were having like some scary shit happening. And damn, another crazy thing that happened afterwards too was the dude that got choked out, scratched up or whatever. He actually went to his room that night after Bobby Mackey, and his whole dorm room was tore up. Like, I'm talking about like papers everywhere, beds unmade, like everything thrown on the floor, and his roommate was gone. His roommate was found, like he wasn't missing, he just kind of left out, but the dorm room was messed up. Dorm room was destroyed. So when it came down to it, with the room being destroyed and we know he got attacked or whatever, the mindset was, we're not fucking with this nigga because he has somebody attached to him. We're going to leave this motherfucker alone. So for a couple months, we just kind of, COVID 6 feet away, stay away from us because you're the only one that had their room fucked up. Like, what do you expect us to do? We're not about to sit. No. We're not about to sit here and lollygag with you. You got to dip out, dog. But yeah, because that was crazy. His room's messed up, and then I remember seeing him crying and freaking out because, like that's the thing about it. You experience all this happening to you in one night, you're going to have a mental breakdown because it's something you can't understand or wrap your head around because it makes no sense. You can't make sense of this situation. And yes, I understand. This doesn't sound believable. This sounds like bullshit. This sounds like blah, 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 blah. Blood. I said blood. But there were witnesses. There were people there. There were people that watched it with us and seen the bullshit. And honestly, some of them share the story and some of them don't. It just kind of depends. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. But yeah, that was Bobby Mackey at CCU. A lot of people want some more CCU stories. That's one of them. I'll give a couple more here and there. Like I said, I'll hit up Mike, hit up James, let them know when to hop on, and then we'll just go crazy about it. Because I know, like, some of the things I left out about the football team was, I remember they were trying to have us reuse the same girdles. Like, they gave us girdles our freshman year. They had us return them. And then they tried to hand out those same girdles to us, but we didn't know whose was whose. So people were reusing girdles. I don't care if they're watched. That's disgusting. And then I know a lot of y'all want to know about the head coach situation. A lot of people want to know about, just the school shutdown, like just what happened altogether, like the experience there. And like I said, I'm still going to share the stories, but I'm also still, I'm going to steer the stories. I'm still going to share those stories. I'm still going to, let y'all know everything. But, at the same time, I'm still going to mix it in with, everyday, interviews and also just daily stuff, what's going on, like how we're about to start World War III soon. They can't draft me. Huh? I'm too old and I'm crippled. Not crippled. What's the word? Let's just say I got health issues. They can't pull me. But yeah, that was Bobby Mackey at CCU. Man, crazy. You'd think at a Christian college we'd be a lot better than what we were, but we were fucked up students, dog. But yeah, another short and sweet episode. It's your boy, host of it's your boy K.Love for Talkaholic Junction. Wherever y'all at, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever. All right, dog. Talkaholic Junction. Talkaholic Junction. Talkaholic Junction. Talkaholic Junction. Talkaholic Junction. Talkaholic Junction.